as well as Anne-Gabrielle Heilbronner, President of the Women.
Dear Madam President, dear Anne-Gabrielle Heilbronner, dear Virginie Herz, ladies and gentlemen, good to have you here and see so many well-known faces and friends. I'm very pleased to welcome you today for the Women's Forum Germany, a call to action to the G7 countries, which represents a unique platform to promote greater representation of women in all the power bodies of society. I'm particularly pleased to welcome you here, as this is the first time since the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic that the Embassy Auditorium is able to host and be filled to discuss this topic. Equality between women and men, as well as the visibility and importance of women in society, are a central concern for France, its diplomacy and our embassy. In 2017, French President Emmanuel Macron declared gender equality as the great national cause of his first five-year term, with 5 main objectives: to promote a fundamental attitude of equality from the earliest age, to prevent and combat all forms of gender-based and sexual violence, to eliminate wage inequalities, to promote a better reconciliation of family and professional life, and finally, to promote equality in all areas of society. Concerning his new term, the French president has reaffirmed these goals, as well as putting a special focus on women's health. As French ambassadors, the issue of gender equality is particularly close to my heart. This is why it was important for me to be able to host this session of the Women's Forum here in the French Embassy. It's an objective we pursue, promotion of equality between women and men in all the events we organize, and I'm really happy that we can do it again today. So women are still confronted with many more situations of discrimination and threats than men, whether at home, in public, during demonstrations, or on social networks, or at work. However, women, just like men, are the actors of sustainable development and the proper functioning of societies. Their representation in all decision-making bodies must be promoted. There is still a long way to go before gender equality becomes the norm. Until then, real gender equality remains a major concern for us, for the French state, for the French state and for the French embassy. But such a challenge is unthinkable and effectively impossible without cooperation at all levels, including the multilateral level. So thank you for being here again. Thank you in advance for the good discussions we will have. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to the discussions that will follow. Madam President, I leave you the floor. Merci beaucoup.
Bonjour, thank you very much, Madam Ambassador. Thank you very much. Merci, chère Anne-Marie. Distinguished guests, dear youth representatives, chers amis, I am delighted to be here with you for the Women from Germany, held in the context of the G7 summit to come. Today is an important event for us. I will elaborate later on this in my opening remarks, but let's just remember, as our ambassador said, that we're here in advance of the G7 summit to present a call to action to our head of state and government, so that they have gender equality priorities well in mind when they gather in Germany at the end of the month. And for the Women's Forum, it's our first event in Berlin. We are a global platform organizing events in the entire world, and I am very happy that this is now taking place in Berlin. It's extremely important to us to be here today in this city, in this country, that plays such a key role in the global economy. We are here today to learn, to connect, and to commit to solutions. I hope that we are going to learn a lot throughout the sessions, and that will be enriched by this day that we are going to spend together. I hope that our vision will progress over the day, will be revised perhaps, deepened on matters such as peace and feminist diplomacy, climate, health, future of work, and gender bias, the main topics on which the Women's Forum choose to focus this year. I hope that you will be inspired and that more than ever, you will be willing to commit for inclusive solutions. I hope too that we'll make new connections and maybe new friends. I would like to greet in particular our Women Forum Youth Delegation present among us for this event. Thank you very much for being here. Please do know that your presence means a lot to us and that our discussions are greatly enriched by your insights. You have worked hard yesterday, I know that, and we look forward to hearing more from you a bit later today. You are exceptionally talented young person. You will take on influential social, political, or economic roles in your careers. Thank you for committing to put gender equality at the core of your actions. What is unique and valuable about the Women's Forum community and partners is the way we share a common vision and ambition as a global network. And we are convinced that together we can go further, and we need to. Aren't you tired of listening to talks about equality and to notice that the gender pay gap is still around 15% in G7 countries, that only 28% of young students studying STEM are women? Aren't you worried that our children may live in a world without gender equality? So we need to act, and we need to make sure that action is taken on the basis of our recommendation. In this room, we are all pragmatic leaders. We want things to change for real. So it's time to commit for inclusive solution, especially for health and peace and climate, technology, and above all, fighting gender bias. Why these themes? Why now? These themes are key for the world of today and tomorrow. They are covering the biggest challenges that women specifically face. And they are vectors on which to act for greater women economic empowerment. Last but not least, we believe in women's particular awareness of these subjects. We know that with women on board, we have greater chances to find innovative solutions, new ideas, simply because we cannot fix all of these complex problems with only 50% of humanity. We need everyone on board. And why now? Because 2022 highlighted the need for an urgent, renewed approach to these international issues. We have seen geopolitical, economical, and climate risks becoming more global and more prominent these last months. The armed conflicts, and we will discuss peace this afternoon, the climate crisis, the food crisis, the pandemic, and the likeliness that we will have to face new episodes of global or regional sanitary crisis and the rise of new technologies transforming the world. This is where we can play a role, a decisive role. To participate into building a better and fairer future, we cannot just sit back and wait to see what happens, because if we do not act now, what we'll see is a step backwards. Since its creation in 2005, the Women's Forum has become an influence platform, working alongside international leaders, promoting inclusive solutions for the economy and society. And beyond the tremendous work achieved by our diplomats, our elected representatives, it is important that companies and civil society engage with these issues. We must work together. In the continuity of what the Women's Forum developed in Milan in 2021 ahead of the G20, we are here in Berlin because in 6 days' time, essential decisions will be taken to respond to the challenges ahead. And we want our voices, women's voice, to be heard when decisions are made. We want gender equality to be central to the debate. We want gender to be mainstreamed in all policies taken by G7 leaders, and women to be included in decisions. We want progress in gender equality to be closely monitored with relevant KPIs, and we want G7 leaders to recognize and combat all forms of sexual violence. As president of the Women's Forum, I have both the capacity to speak out and above all, a responsibility to act. So I am determined to get the voice of women to be heard and listened to. Now, I would like to warmly thank Professor Jutta Almendinger, Chair of the Gender Equality Advisory Board and President of the Berlin Social Science Center, for her presence among us, and to officially submit this call to action to her. Here it is, Jutta. Oui.
I mean, you are the past who brings us together. No.
Exactly. So picture. Picture. Ouais, quand même. Voilà. No, what I want to say about this call to action is that you have 10 very pragmatic recommendations in it that were prepared by our teams. Thank you for our teams. And it's based on the result of our work, our working groups, the daring circles, the expertise of our knowledge partners, our own analysis and experience. I encourage you to read it. Seriously, read it. There is just the 10 recommendations, are summarized on one page, if you don't have a lot of time. But seriously, read it. You will like it. And we would like just to say a few words about one section that strikes me personally, which is women in STEM. Women are 25% less likely than men to know how to leverage digital technology for basic uses in OECD countries. And STEM skills account for 70% of the rapidly growing skills that are transforming the labor market. So it's absolutely critical that women are included in jobs of the future. This is a condition for their future economic empowerment. And this is why we urge G7 leaders to develop urgently a gender transformative education plan at national level, that's our recommendation number 7, and to build tailored reskilling and upskilling programs and ask companies to commit to run such programs for their workforce, that's our recommendation number 8. So yes, indeed, women must participate in progress, economic growth, and innovation. This is what our 10 pragmatic and concrete recommendations are all about. We designed them with a firm intention to walk the walk rather than talk the talk. We need to persevere to obtain equality. The time is now, and we need everyone on board, men and women. So thank you. And again, I wish you to spend an excellent moment here at the French Embassy in Berlin at the Women's from Germany.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Anne-Gabrielle, Heilbronner. Jutta, you want to say a word?
Yes, of course. I mean, this is a very important moment. How could I not say something?
Please.
So, first of all, thank you very much, dear Ambassador, dear Anne-Marie Descôtes. And obviously, Anne is a powerful name. So it's Anne-Marie, it's then Gabrielle. My name is not Anne, my name is Jutta. But this only means that we have to join forces. And this also means that we have to join, whatever the recommendations of W7, your recommendations, and the recommendation of GEAC, the Gender Advisory Council. And together, of course, we will present our results to the G7 all-male leaders in Elmau. And when we had our first meeting yesterday with the whole GEAC group, and this is a fantastic group composed of men and women, there has been this fantastic idea that we should put forward 7 goals because it's G7. But then somebody said, well, probably we should have an 8th one, and this should be put up by one of the male 7 leaders. And I try to be successful on this on Monday. I think it's all about joining forces, We can't work against each other. We can't enter a competition whose recommendations are the very best or the most powerful. It's all about that young and old women work together. Hi. that women across all occupations work together. This is really important, that women work globally together, but also that men and women work together, because women by themselves won't rock it. It's not just that more women go to STEM occupations, it's also that more men go to caring occupations. So this is how we can make a change. And with this having said, thank you so very, very much for this powerful paper. And I can just repeat one of the major sentences. We all call on G7 leaders to raise women's voices to create change. And we'll rock it.
Thank you very much.